All right, greetings everybody. This is Mr. Clay here, and I'm with my esteemed partner as always.
And this is Lady A. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday.
Absolutely, absolutely. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And I think we have a great discussion for today, something that's really very serious and we need people to pay attention.
Or you want to go ahead and start it off?
Sure, not a problem. As I said earlier, people, thank you for being a part of our podcast. We want you to hit like and share, subscribe. And today we are going to be talking about what's being in the news lately regarding the American currency. Just let me start with this. If you really want to know what's going on in the world, never, ever, ever, never pay attention when they are focusing on something that has absolutely no impact in your day to day life or how you live. That's usually a distraction to keep you from hearing what you need to know. So just remember that. If it's just like right now, the focus is all Trump is being indicted. That has nothing to do with you. Whether he's indicted or not, it won't make one iota of a difference in your life. However, what they're telling you about our currency and what's going on in other countries and how they are really trying to negate our currency to the point it won't be worth anything. That's what you need to know. Never dismiss because you are not rich, and that's relative, whatever rich is, or that you don't have a lot of money, that is not important because your kibbles and bits are just as important to you as somebody else's Gainsburger, okay? But you need to understand that it may be important that you possibly move your finances to something different, invest in silver, invest in gold if you can, to protect yourself because they are trying to move to a digital currency and they're changing some of the laws as far as what a bank may be able to, I may have to give you back. So they are trying to be careful on how this information is disseminated because they can't afford to run on banks. You can't either, really. But one of the last things that I read was in the event of the change, when all this is supposed to happen, they'll do it on a Friday night. So you can't go anywhere to get anything, and you can only get so much out of an ATM machine and they don't have to work. My brother, do you have more information to elaborate, even more details?
Well, what I found out, I had been hearing about the CDBC, which is the United States Digital Currency, because the digital currencies are quote unquote what's called decentralized, meaning there is no centralized bank. And what I found out is the CDBC will be the United States currency, and it will be centralized because they will be issuing the currency, which means that once you have this currency, this digital currency that's been issued by the United States government, is you pretty much at the behest of them because now they can cut you off at any given time. Oh, you ain't do this right. We gonna take $25 out your account, or you can't access your account, or you can't access these buildings because you don't have such and such a credit. This is where we're going. It's complete control of your finances is what they really want to do.
What is called is financial slavery.
Absolutely.
So now everything that happened to people of color during Jim Crow and even before back in the 20s when we had our own banks in some places and they come and take all the money out. Now it's getting ready to happen to everybody.
And what's going to happen is I just seen an article over AI is expected to take 300 million jobs. This gets back to the digital currency, and we're going to, because I've seen an article, and this was years ago, that they were expecting to make so much money off of AI, they could afford to pay every single American an $1,000 stipend. This gets into that. If with digital currency, you ain't going to be able to pretty much afford anything, And it's going to be, here's your $1,000. Shut up, be quiet, be happy. You don't own anything.
And that's why it's going to get back to the point you better learn how to live all together, and you better start growing some of your own food.
And learn how, instead of being afraid of AI and what's coming, benefit from it. Learn how
Absolutely. This is a great investment time.
Absolutely. This is a great investment time. Learn how to benefit from it, because in reality, if you look at it and benefiting from it, it's your partner. It's not your enemy. Because I've been playing around with GTP, and just the things that, just asking the questions and the answers that you get, it's your assistant. So we kind of need to look at it in that aspect, like it's your assistant, and it can make your life easier in some form or fashion instead of fighting, because you're not going to be able to fight it. You don't have the resources.
Not in win anyway. You'll just
You
be.
don't have the resources. You
Nope.
do not have, as an individual, you cannot fight it. You do not have the resources. I don't care what you say, what you ain't gonna do. That's just like all the people in the pastors was talking about Facebook was the devil. Now they on Facebook begging. Okay, so you ain't going to get rid of it. You're going to have to eventually have to adapt. And an
And
internet,
just because something may be perceived as negative, bad, or evil, that doesn't mean you have to be. You can utilize it advantageously, like what you are saying, to convey better, right, and good things. You don't have to do the same thing that somebody else is doing.
exactly. Absolutely. You can make it benefit you. You don't got to be out here robbing, using your robot or your AI to rob nobody. You don't have to do that. You can program it to, hey, clean this up every day at 5 o'clock, or do this every, you know what I mean? So it's beneficial. It could actually alleviate some of the small tasks that you don't want to do.
Absolutely.
And
And that's why it's important to learn.
yes.
Don't be fearful. Fearful is a form of being fearful of human things is a form of ignorance. Being fearful because you don't know, that's the ignorance. But being fearful because you understand it enough to, well, let me learn. That alleviates your fear. You know, like what you were saying before, don't let it be your enemy. That's that fear of ignorance versus learning to adapt. That's a fear that starts with, well, let me understand it. Now your fear starts alleviating, because now not only do you understand it, you see how you can utilize it to benefit your life and your pockets.
And that's what it should be about anyway, But the thing is, see, and the reason why they're projecting us as Black folks to really continue to stay at the bottom is because they understand our spending habits as a collective. They understand how we spend as a collective, not as you as an individual, because for whatever reasons, Black folks always like, well, that ain't me, or I don't do that, and we'll be talking about the collective. They don't give a shit about you as the person. They really care about the collective.
Yep.
Well,
I'm just hoping we understand the investment piece. You run out and play the numbers. Let's invest to win. Forget the numbers.
Because
start playing the numbers that can really make a difference in your life. You don't have to lose all the time.
Absolutely. Because no matter what, and this is the thing, is I hear people say, well, investing is expensive. And my thought to them is always no, it's not, because you're investing every single day. It's just a matter of what you're choosing to invest in.
It's amazing that you said that, because I remember decades ago that I had heard about REITs, which is real estate investment trust. But the way it was presented to me, I dismissed it because, oh, wow, I don't have that kind of money. But that was my fault. Regardless of how something is presented, investigate to make sure you understand what you think you understand, to ensure that maybe, is it really something that I can't do, or is it something that I can do? You'll be surprised. We should be consistent on learning to ask questions and checking out things for ourselves. We don't have to wait for somebody to just tell us every little detail, and make sure we reading with comprehension, not just reading because we know what the words are. Because had I gotten involved in it when I did, you probably wouldn't know me.
And I can't dispute that one bit because, and as you're saying about asking questions, when I bought my first IRA, I bought it from Comerica, and I'm sitting here and I'm reading about all their management fees, and I'm seeing what this loads is. I'm like, well, what the hell is a load, right? So I said, just let me just look this up. And so I'm like, so basically, they're charging me money off the money that I make. So in reality, I'm not making any money. They're making all the money.
That's the principle of banks to this day. That's why you need to understand how insurance really works.
Absolutely.
When you understand, I mean, even Barry Gordy, his family was a somewhat of example of that, because their own family started their own little personal bank within the family. So when he needed to start Motown, he didn't have to worry about having a business plan or to that on that level with the banks, because he went to mom and dad, because the bank of the family, that's where he got his loan from. We had to present it to them on what he was going to do, instead of somebody who doesn't care and probably would have told him no. We take so much for granted.
Yeah, well, it's because we see. Here's the thing about, and I know why we have issues when we want to do some investing or do something, having issues with family members getting something out of family members, is because they still view you as their same kid that they've been knowing the last 30, 40, 50 years. So they don't look at you as an adult who's been out here paying bills, doing all the things as a human being does, as a productive human being. They don't view you as that. So since they don't view you as that, why would I give you any of my money? And so
that's true.
And unfortunately, here's a great example. My cousin, who's locked up right now, right? Before he got locked up, he was slanging real good. He was making a whole lot of money, right? And I said to him, I says, why don't me and you sit down and you give me some of your money so I can invest it for you. So when you get out of jail, you'll have some, right? He tells me, well, what make you think I'm going to jail? I says, I just know how you are, right? So since I know how you are, give me some of your money so I can put it aside for you, right? He comes back the next day and he says to me, now this is what this Negro says to me. Now, you wanna know what? Everything you were saying made sense. Wait for it, excuse me. I'm gonna give you a shot. I said, you gonna give me a shot? I says, nigga, I'm giving you a shot to preserve some of your money. I says, and secondly, I ain't one of them niggas in the street who you give a shot to who out here slanging. Nigga, I know how to invest. That's how I bought my house. That's how I had my house built in Arizona. Oh, I ain't know that, cuz. Well, shit, I said, no, you done ruined that. Fuck you and your money.
But I've always said that I have no concept of, I don't care, legal or illegal. How you make $1 million and don't have any money down the road? You are supposed to make sure that unfortunately, you're doing it in a legal way, but for the first $1 million you get, that $1 million is supposed to be making money somewhere else. If you got to get it out the country or whatever, but that $1 million is supposed to be making some money somewhere. Nobody should ever find it. Nobody should ever touch it. I mean, it's got to be protected some way. If you're going to go out, why go out as broke as you started? That's crazy to me. Yeah. It's just crazy. And learn how to invest it in other things too. I mean, I know it all started off with hair salons, laundromats, then rap studios, but you got to do something, because your aim should be to stop doing what you're doing. It really should be. You got the money you needed. Let's take care of the things I need to take care of. Mom, dad, my kids, my wife, or whatever. Your aim should be to the exit. When you get into that, you should have been looking for the exit.
See, we in the day and age right now is these Negroes that I know that got a few dollars is They're afraid because they so street and that's all they understand. They're afraid to take their money out of the street, not realizing that you going to jail. Okay, first and
And
foremost,
it's inevitable. The longer you do it, you
you're
either gonna go to
putting
prison or you gonna die. One
you're
or the other.
putting yourself in a worse situation because the
Yep.
older you get, the more you stay into it. What happens when that day is up? Now you in jail, a 60-year-old man. Okay, makes
For
no sense.
life.
For life. Yes, makes no sense. Okay, this is a great chance for these men to take their money and purchase what I like to call digital assets. They can buy mobile apps. They can buy websites that are producing revenue every single month, right? It's a company right now that has an e-commerce site. They want $10,000. The site producing $2,500 a month. Please tell me that's not worth the investment.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get these Negroes from their mind state out of the street to understand you're owning digital assets where you got people paying you monthly and you ain't got to worry about it.
You know what? It's ironic that you said that, and I may have repeated this in an earlier conversation, but I cannot recall the DJ's name. He's quite popular, but he inquired of 50 Cent, what's the largest check he had ever seen. And in short, 50's response was something like $80 million. And the guy said, well, why you still working? And he said, that's what one of his ladies who has one of his kids, and I'm assuming it's the first one, made that comment. And he said, that's why they're not around now, because now he's in a position where those shows he has like 24 different shows. He said, that stuff is automatic. He said, that's when you making money, when you don't have to work to get it. That's when you truly make money. And here's this young man has been smart enough to survive what he started, to get out of it, be honest and know who he is and stay away from people that do certain things, because that ain't what he wants to do anymore. And then he goes to learn, just like he made a comment about what they teach you in media school. The only way to make that comment, you were there.
Exactly.
So he's humble enough to know what he doesn't know and go out and get it, because he'll tell you in a minute the corporate world way more treacherous than the street.
I just watched that interview again, him saying that.
He says way more. And he even talks about how there are people more educated than him book-wise. But just because you got book sense don't mean you got more sense than him.
See, the problem with people with book sense is they think that the book sense applies to the street sense. It doesn't. It's too
No, it
different.
doesn't.
It's not even the same. It's just like I'm an attorney, but I'm gonna go talk to a plumber. It's two different languages.
Yes, it is. But that's why him and Jay-Z, that's why they are flourishing so well, because they speak it all, period. And especially with 50, everybody knows, there's no secret, he was the real deal. He really was about that life. And he was smart when he did that. 11, 12 years old, and you still alive. You can only survive the game by paying attention and listening. You even have to listen if you're playing the game. If you're in that life, you survive it and excel in it because you got sense enough to shut the heck up and listen.
Because again, and this is something I know, every industry that you in, and this is what I guess needs to be taught to the youth, is that every industry that you're in, it has its own language, it has its own tone, its own way of doing things, and it's going to dictate how you operate. Now, you're not going to change it, it's going to change you. Because in order to play in that field, in that arena, you got to have on the right uniform.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, in the business world, was it Robert Kiyosaki, I believe is his name? That's the only reason he had jobs, just to learn how the jobs ran before he did his own thing. Let me just see how this works from the bottom to the top. That's why some of your best leaders were there from the beginning. They worked in the mailroom before they became the leader. And they really legitimately worked themselves up to where they have to be. It wasn't just straight up nepotism. They actually worked from the bottom to the top. And those with integrity are better leaders than those who, cause daddy owned the company, they got to do the job.
Absolutely. And see, and those men there, because they understand every aspect of the business.
And they understand the human aspect. And that right there is the most important piece, because even with AI, there are some businesses you won't need humans, period. Even if an AI could do it, you still need the human interaction.
You're still going to need a human to come in there in some form or fashion and interact with all of those robots and all of that artificial. In some form or fashion, it's still going to be needing a human.
Because AI is using human knowledge. That's what was inputted, was human knowledge. It didn't just evolve on its own.
It's human knowledge.
Yep. That's why when people would have things on Google and they'd get all bent out of shape, you may have recalled this. It happened, I think, in the 80s or 90s, where this man who had a Porsche dealership, he sent out advertisements only to people making 6 digits or more, and people all bent out of shape about it. I tell folks, everything online already existed. It already existed. It's just been compiled and put in one place where you could find it now. It's always existed.
Exactly. Everything has always been here. It's just now because of the internet and everybody got a camera in their hand. Here we go.
And you can access it faster. But prior to the internet, all the man had to do was go to this place, that place, and find out who made that kind of money and still send it.
Exactly. I mean, it's not like you can't buy that kind of information. I can go right now and buy who are the top millionaires in the country, and they'll probably sell me that information.
You can even find out what they invest in.
Exactly. They will proudly sell you all that information. Whether if you think it's public or if it's private. Nothing is private.
Nothing. However, the internet only knows the truth about what you give it to be the truth. That's the only upside to it. It only knows what you have allowed to be put out there as being factual.
Absolutely.
So if you haven't been always totally elaborating on every little detail, then it's limited on what it can say. Because no matter what, I mean, people have different ages, birth certificates, all kind of stuff. You don't know if you're looking at truth or not. That's the only upside when it comes to individuals, unless their fingerprints are on board somewhere.
Mm-hmm. You know, we so into the AI right now. You got people that's in New York that's upset at Amazon because Amazon is doing facial recognition when they come in the store. How in the hell else is you think they're gonna let you pay for the stuff and you just walk right out without facial recognition? You dummies. These people is dumb.
Yeah, they don't think past their nose. And not only that, the other side of that is they are really trying to enhance facial recognition, because facial recognition was really based just on white people. That's why it makes so many errors when it's black people. But if you start doing certain things or being certain places where that can be captured more often, it would expand and enhance how facial recognition is used and how close it is to being right, because they don't have us in there. It's not. Now, some of us who have more European features, yeah, it might get us, but those of us who don't, if you have more people of color features, it's gonna mess up pretty much every time.
Yeah. And it has admitted that it's racist.
Yes.
And so it gets to, and it's like, okay, well, if it's admitted that it's racist, that means the programmers are racist.
That's right.
You know, but I want to, and this was something that I found interesting, just to get back on the digital currency, was all of the BRIC nations, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and they're all coming together.
In Germany, part of that as well?
No, Germany is part of NATO.
Okay.
And I never knew that NATO was a military alliance. I never knew that. All of this time, I just thought it was a group of these fuckers just getting together. It's a military alliance.
Absolutely. Because now, prior to me hearing about that, I'd heard that China had brokered a peace agreement between Iran and Iraq, of all two places.
And Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
And Saudi Arabia. So all of them are coming together. And Mexico is also thinking about coming a part of what they call the BRICS nations. They all coming together because they all saying, okay, we want to create our own currency and be involved with it because we're what we want to say, we're the emerging economies and the West is the dying economies, which you see it every day, and I've been asking people this, is this administration took $30,000 of mine and gave it to Ukraine. Based upon that knowledge, why would I vote for this administration?
Oh, yeah. You got a point there. Voting really is not what it was anymore. They pretty much know who's going to be the president last year. I mean, I would never promote not voting, but in all honesty, it's not what it was.
No, and when I remember this so greatly, and this, I don't know why this sticks out in my mind, but I remember this so greatly. I don't remember much about middle school, but 1983, Ronald Reagan's running for office. We're in the 6th grade, okay? 6th grade. Nope. 8th grade, because we're in the 8th grade. Ronald Reagan, president, running for president. Our teacher had an Encyclopedia Britannica, right? And we were reading it. And this is the beginning of the year, September. And it had in there Ronald Reagan as the president, right? This woman was distraught. She was blown away, and she wrote Encyclopedia Britannica, and this was what they said: we projected Ronald Reagan to win.
Well, it's always been said, is it that the WHO, that's the World Health Organization, but it's another organization that has to do with who's going to be president, and it's pretty much, with the exception of even President Obama and Clinton. They may have been 2 exceptions, but for the most part, they've already decided who's going to be the president long before it happens. Oh, everything absolutely. Else is, and Trump was another exception. He was not supposed to be there.
Well,
but he did what was necessary to be done, and now they through with him. So
yeah. See, exactly. Trump, and see, the problem that they had with Trump was by Trump not being a politician. That made him a recluse, because he would come out and say stuff, and because people would be caught up in their emotions, they wouldn't really fully grasp what he was saying, because he was coming out and he was really telling you how they fucking over the American public. If you really listen to the shit that he was saying, because you think right now today, real talk, that man was talking about America first. Right now today, would you agree with that?
America first?
Yes.
We not now, no.
No, I mean, but based upon what he was saying and what he was doing, pulling all American resources back home, America first don't sound bad right now, seeing all these billions.
Not at all. Yep. Well, I didn't disagree with everything the man said at all. I never did. I just disagree with him as a human being. I can't go along with you promoting hate and confusion, but I understood the reasoning behind that. It's just that the people who fall in that trap don't get it, because he said it in 1989. He said, if I ever run for president, I will run Republican, because they have the dumbest voters. And he proved it. Really and truly, he's not a Republican, he's a Democrat. Exactly. And they allowed him to get in there, and he just decimated that party.
Trump is really and truly, he's really, the reason why I'm going to say he's Democratic is because he liked the limelight of the celebrity. If it wasn't for the limelight of the celebrity, Trump wouldn't be none of them, because Trump only gives a fuck about Trump.
That's it, and that includes his kids, except for Ivanka, the girl.
Absolutely. Trump only care about Trump,
That's it, that's all. That's why when all this other crap come out about him, them boys better be careful how they talking about folks, because they probably are serving for him. He'll sell them up the river.
You can't rule anything out.
But you're right about it, because a lot of the things that he talked about, had it gone through, been more proactive and more effective, you're absolutely right. We wouldn't be in the situation we're in now. No. Even though it didn't really help the majority of the folks here, overall, the country would have possibly been a lot stronger.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, just on him talking about, even though I ain't pro-military, but what he was talking about doing with the military, building the military back up, because you look now, they letting, I mean, and that's not to say that they ain't gonna be great fighters, but they letting transgenders in there. These people is emotional.
Absolutely. Well, they're confused already. But you know, another thing I wish they had never stopped, were giving young people, since you want to do all this killing and shooting, you got an option. Go to prison or go to the military. What you want to do? Since you so bad, yes, you go to prison or you get, this is your opportunity right now. Because a lot of them could have had that opportunity, and they probably be fine, strong, important citizens. Since that's what you want to do, you want to run and kill. Let's see how you work out here. I would have given them an opportunity.
And here's another thing that I'm so blown away with. It's like, well, I don't get why y'all stop this. Ain't no reason why we have all of this snow, all of this trash, and we got all of these motherfuckers that staying going in and out of
Absolutely.
the county. Put their ass to work, clean up the goddamn freeways. These freeways is filthy.
Yep.
I mean,
and matter of fact, that would be my first thing. You're going to serve this time, but you're going to do this work here because you don't have enough people to do it no other kind of way.
Exactly. I don't give a shit if it's 10 minus degrees outside. You chose to do this crime. You going to be out here shoveling the snow for the goddamn city.
Yep.
You're going to be out here putting down salt for the city. Yeah, we got people that we paying to do that, but since you chose to be an asshole, you doing it for free.
And you're absolutely right, because the city would be immaculate if they did that. And of course, it would depend on what you did, of course, to get in there. But for once, you'd have the right kind of shoes and the right kind of winter covering to do it. Because I agree. I've always felt that way. Always.
You know, because it makes no sense.
And they could get rid of some of the overcrowding, because everybody that's in there don't need to be in there.
Exactly.
That was not the best sentence to give them. But you get caught up, because but you get caught up in the situation. This is what happens to you. But a lot of the sentences, and just like right now with all the short staff, well, let some of them people who about to die anyway, let them go home.
I got a friend, brother, this guy Matt, he been locked up since I was in the 10th, 11th grade. Please tell me that old man ain't the same old man that went in, ain't the same young man that went in there. Why is he still locked up?
This is my only pushback. And I'm tell you, my only pushback is if the victim's family got a problem with it. Then because I've been in that environment, that's when I back off. But if it was street on street, I ain't talking to nobody. You get to go home. Street games, you get to go home. But you 74 years old. I agree with you. The chances of you, even statistically, you out of the numbers. You're too old. You can't hardly walk. You can't hardly sit down. You can't hardly stand up. You don't have no more teeth. Your hair gone. You can't hardly see. You can't hardly hear. Go home. Because see, no matter what, the state gonna be taking care of you.
I was just about to say, either way, the state gonna be taking care of you.
And my thing is, I'd rather build a dormitory. Here it is, one bedroom with a little kitchenette and a bathroom. Unless you got a place to live, you got family you can go back to. Because some of the people been in there so long, their immediate family is gone, their kids are gone, and their second line, the first cousins, grandparents, everybody gone. Where you going when you get out?
And what you gonna do?
Yeah. So like I said, build a dormitory, but I felt that way about homeless people too. Get them little bitty mini houses, Well, but I agree with you. I'd put people to work. I sure would.
But see, what you just said gets back into the $1,000 a month credit. Them type of homes that you just said build, them dormitories and stuff, that's what people are going to be living in with them $1,000 a month credit vouchers that they get. That's exactly what
Yeah.
they're going to be living in.
Well, you know, when the marijuana became legal in Colorado, that's what they did with all the surplus money that they had, was to help the homeless people for the
Yeah,
little houses. Yeah.
yeah.
But you know what we were talking about earlier, the digital currency trade-off, you know, it really runs right into scripture when it talks about that one coin, that one money. That's it. That's all. It's just you ain't to worry about it. This money gonna be good throughout the whole world because it's only gonna
Exactly.
be one.
It's
And
only
that
going
goes
to
in
be.
line with them trying to be in control of it. So after a while, you're gonna be like, I just keep my money at my house. Never mind.
At some point, you're going to say, I'm just going to start buying assets.
Yep.
You know, I mean, in reality, that's just where it's going to be at for them, so they don't can be able to control. See, this is my thing, and I remember when Bitcoin first came out, right? When I first heard about digital currency, I was living in Arizona, and me, the forever conspiracy theorist, right? The first thing I heard was because I heard it was a Japanese dude that had created it, and blah 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 blah. And the first thing I said was, now why would the CIA let anybody do anything with money, and they the ones who doing all the drug money, right? Because I always thought that this was something they created to do all their illegal dealings with. They can exchange this, and nobody knew about it, right? And I'm still not too far off, to be honest, because there is
No,
no
I think
way.
you're absolutely correct. I'm gonna tell you why I think you're absolutely correct. Number one, you and I pretty much see things a lot the same way, just from a different perspective because of our personal experience and your technical knowledge. But I was watching Power, the Ghost series, the
Uh-huh.
Ghost part with the young boy, and in that, this is what they had decided to do on how to sell. Because now the one friend, his father owns this big investment company. The whole it's a family thing. So
Uh-huh.
now this is what they're going to do. They're going to use Bitcoins. For every coin you buy, we bring you this cup of coffee, which in the bottom of it has the drugs in it. So if anything go wrong, all it looks like is I'm just investing in Bitcoin. And I thought about that also. You remember the firm that just got in trouble federally? Some people didn't do anything wrong, but that's the backdoor way for the feds to get involved in it to try to control it, to control it.
Absolutely. See, it's a that is a double sided, because that was definitely the feds to do it, but this is how they set them up to do it. They forced that. Well, I ain't gonna say they forced it. They encouraged the diversity, and in encouraging the diversity, they didn't hire financially smart individuals.
Okay.
Okay. And since you don't have financially smart individuals on your staff that know how to handle this money and do the things properly with it, you start to invest in things that don't make no money.
Absolutely. Yep.
So now you're just throwing money out there just because you like the project personally. See, that's what they not telling about that bank down there, the SVB bank and the Silicon Valley Bank. They were making also bad investments just because of them, as they call it nowadays, being woke. So we dealing with, as I keep saying, people that are really not all that smart. It's way more nepotism in these situations than what we realize.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
You know,
And you
because
can't always go by the last name either.
exactly. Because I was watching today, me and my cousin was watching Godfather of Harlem, and the young lady that's playing Betty Shabazz. The first thing I said was, Hollywood, no, they got it tight because she looks just like a younger version of Angela Bassett, right? And that just took me to it. Says, well, I do realize that a lot of these actors and actresses are from other actors and actresses. This is a lineage thing. These people just don't be, I'm a star all of a sudden. They automatically already be, they family be on them already in the industry.
Well, you know what? That's when you start. If they every now and then they show it about the rappers who are related. You know,
Yeah.
like Rick James was related to one of the Temptations. I think the one with the deep voice. So is Snoop Dogg and somebody is related. And him, Snoop Dogg and Brandy and RJ, they are cousins.
Yeah.
Then Charlie. Uncle Charlie is related to somebody else. I mean, a bunch of them. They already related. It's like
Yeah,
it wasn't a secret on how they got to where they are. Even with Tupac, even though he may not be related to anybody, even though I think he is, but your mama was a Black Panther. Your mama
e-
was a lawyer, and she wasn't even a lawyer, and got all these people out of prison. So
yeah,
you had some notoriety behind your name
exactly.
already.
Exactly. And we can't forget that Tupac did go to a performing arts school.
Him and Jada Pinkett. Yep, that's how they know each other.
So we got, but yeah,
Yeah, because he chose to go left. He didn't have to.
yeah,
He got caught up.
it was almost like it was a script.
Yeah, but I think there was a fascination to him, and he got caught up in it. Same thing with Ice-T. Ice-T, the streets was a choice, not a force, because Ice-T was smart already. He grew up, had parents, both mother and father. So did Ice Cube.
So because it's like, how do you deviate from that Black Panther mind state to go from that to hit them up and I get around? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
now it's seriously duality. You know.
Well, a lot of that allegedly wasn't optional for him. And then you do this, and then we'll let you do what you really want to do.
And I can say that because I can agree with that, because you listen to a lot of things and you hear it and you be saying to yourself, who wrote this? These
Yep.
people ain't wrote this. And that's just me now with a 52-year-old ear saying that they ain't write this. That's just like listening to Dr. Dre beats. Dr. Dre didn't do half them beats. Somebody else was doing them beats.
Well, that's why I was listening to something the other day about Sylvia Robinson, and I love to hear KRS-One talk about historically and financially about hip hop.
Mhm.
Had she kept everything in her stable, white folks would have never made no money off of hip hop.
She had Sugar Hill Gang.
But see, they did them dirty. They did them dirty though.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
see, the problem with Sugar Hill Gang was New York brothers didn't really like them either, because they wasn't quote unquote from New York, and they really wasn't rappers.
nope, they weren't. That's
They were
true.
kind of put together, and that one song took off, which made the New York rappers a little, didn't feel no special way about it.
But the money never should have left the neighborhood.
No, by
Had
no
had
means.
had everything been done right, that money, it would have been a whole bunch of billionaires. It wouldn't have been just Jay-Z and Beyonce.
No, by no means. Jay-Z and
As
Beyonce.
long as Sylvia was alive, and then they make the mistake of not trying to learn, because if they understood Sam Cooke and Ray, if a blind man can get all his stuff, what is wrong with you all?
I mean, it's not like they don't, like you just said. Sam Cooke owned his masters. Ray Charles owned his masters.
Prince got his back. Anita Baker got hers back.
Barry White never got rid of his till he died. His family sold his. Earth, Wind, and Fire, they still got theirs, because you don't hear none of their stuff on no commercials. Frankie and Beverly May still got his, because you don't hear none of his stuff on no commercials. So when you start hearing their stuff on commercials, they done sold it.
Or somebody's paying them to use it.
Or more than likely they done sold it by then. Because
I read something also too, that after a 30-year period, you can get them back anyway.
Yeah. And to top it off, Kashif wrote a book showing them the contracts, showing them how to fill out the contracts and everything before he died. Kashif laid it out in a book.
But my thing is, I don't understand it. How you see how these people got cheated? I would be making sure it didn't happen to me.
Okay.
Just like with TLC, and then you got Tony Braxton. Really? One of y'all it shouldn't have happened to, because you saw it happen to the other one.
So you gonna tell me? Okay, this is how sick we are as people. All of the previous artists that grew up around, that was out and understand the Sam Cooke story and what he was trying to accomplish, they so cowardice, they won't even talk about what he was trying to do, because they just that cowardice.
Yep.
This man was
Well,
trying. He went to all of them to talk about owning their all rights, and they all looked at him like he was a fucking crazy man.
yeah, but they wishing they had done what he said. Now, same thing with Master P. He understood. Master
Yes,
P understood the distribution thing. Who makes albums that many in a year? Ah,
thank you, thank you.
that's why to me, when you come out trying to say this, that, and the other about the person, no, you just jealous. Go somewhere and sit down. I like Master P. And 50 got the same kind of mentality. He ain't stupid.
Yeah, Master P
And
got
he's fearless.
Master
Because
P.
he dealt with Master P too. And then, Snoop Dogg just has nothing but great things to say about Master P. But they learning. Some of them learning.
I mean, like Master P said, he was just like, he did a lot of stuff didn't make sense to him, is why he did it himself. Because he just like, what I look like giving you $1 million to take my records down to this radio station, and you taking their stuff, you already going down there.
Yeah, yeah.
And when he said, he told all of them that, why is we giving this man $1 million a piece and we can just do this ourselves? He said they all was like, well, because they all gave excuses. And he said, okay, well, that's cool. Y'all keep giving him $1 million. I'm gonna give him 100,000. And he gonna do the same thing for me. And that's what Master P said. That's what made him start doing his own thing. When he said, man, I can't trust these niggas.
Yep.
He went to all
he had nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Everything, nothing to lose and everything to gain. But no,
literally everything.
Because that just tells you right there, we don't believe in ownership. We don't want to own anything. We sitting up here making.
But that's a lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge, and a lack of understanding. If you got any knowledge, but just a lack of understanding the concept. But you know what? That's new, and the reason I say that's a new mentality. If it wasn't new, Black Wall Street and hundreds others like it never would have existed. You got people first generation out of slavery doing better than these people doing right now in the year 2023.
Yes. Here's what's amazing. Right out of slavery, we were more educated than white folk.
Yeah, and had more places and spending our money within us. It took our money like 30 days to leave us. Now it ain't that 30 seconds.
Because coming out of slavery, they didn't know how to do anything. We was the ones building all of the banks and the stores and they didn't know how to do anything.
Yep. And just think, some of our people, really, 1865. Some of those people in the 20s they literally had been slaves.
Yes.
I mean, really.
Okay.
Because if they were 10, they were only 70. If they were 20, they were only 80. But some of those people had literally been slaves.
A friend of mine said his father, when his father was growing up, that the men that was around, only thing, and this goes back to slavery, okay? The men that was around, because after they got off of work on the weekends, only thing they could do was really get drunk, okay? So after they got off of slavery, these men, because this was a ritual, they continued to do that, okay? Sit up there right in front of the store in their little chairs and in the empty lots like they do today and get drunk. He also said that the same men that was doing this, they never talked about what it was like to be a slave. That's the biggest problem right there in the Black community, our transfer of knowledge. We refuse to transfer knowledge to make the next generation better.
That's a true statement, but I'm going to also add this to that. As true as it is, it's not on a wider scale as the media promotes. Anytime the propaganda is great and fueled on a regular basis, that means it has not created the success that it's looking for yet.
Exactly.
And we have to be careful buying into the lie. As long as they keep saying, oh, it's black and black crime, black on black crime, that's a seed planted. but it's not getting the water is not making it grow as much as they would like for it to. That's why they keep talking about it. Once they stop talking about it, the problem has gone out of hand. But they talk about it all the time, every day, how we spend our money, and we, without thinking, get caught up in it. That's what perpetuates it, and we don't even realize it.
And see, and as far as the jail situation goes, is the reason why they've been amping it up is because less and less black men are going to jail.
Yep.
And what they see, this is what they didn't realize was that one, these young men are looking at, we ain't about to be like these old niggas who ain't getting, we ain't about to be like them. So they're changing their own minds themselves. So they ain't even thinking like the generations before them. And that's even including with me. They ain't even thinking like how I am. So when I talk to them and sit back and I listen to them, our generation, they really don't, we don't have a clue of what's going on with them. And
I agree with that.
And we did that by choice because we're competing with them.
Unfortunately,
absolutely, we're still competing with them. You know, I used to say that, you know, when I go out, I see more women hang out, but I'm looking at these men now, and I'm saying to myself, but I understand this too, is that I'm looking at them and I'm seeing them getting the spray hair and wearing the little wigs and getting all this stuff done to their hair. But what I'm also realizing is that a lot of those men, they missed their prime because they was locked up.
Yes.
And so they trying to relive that again. And I didn't realize that until I was talking to my cousin one day, because he did 14 years. Me and him was talking one day, and some of the things he was saying, it was like, oh wow. A lot of men thinking like this because they trying to relive them days. And you middle-aged. Yeah, and now you're middle-aged men, and that world don't exist no more.
Yep. But however, there are others who understand because when they got there, they decided, you know what, this is not for me. Let me be ready when it's time to go.
Absolutely. And
that's why they try to take the books away from them. People don't realize that. I'm gonna tell you, let me tell you, when I first started working in corrections, one of the first things I noticed is one time they came through collecting all the Bibles, but it wasn't all the Bibles, it was the King James Bible. Mm-hmm. And then they would take a few others, but I mean a minute number. But the mass was the King James, and they weren't paying attention. I said, y'all better pay attention to this. There's a reason it's only one. And that ought to make you concerned. That ought to make you question stuff. Man, so you sit back and watch. I mean, just like I think in Chicago, they were taking books away from the male prisoners, especially anything black oriented. And they can't order just anything, and it has to be coming directly from Amazon or whatever. Mm-hmm. When they order books,
whatever vendor they say.
And I used to tell some of them, why you reading that mess? You know, that garbage, you know, the drug man, the girlfriend, and the selling why? Read something that's really gonna make a difference in your life while you here and when you leave. I used to also tell them, when you do read, look at the words that you don't see. There's something that you don't know, haven't seen before, don't know what it is. Keep reading and see if you understand it, and write that word down and find out what it means, and increase your vocabulary. Start utilizing that word. Absolutely. You'll be surprised how differently you get treated with a broader vocabulary, and when you are speaking with some intelligence.
Absolutely. And it, you know, and it just goes with, as you're saying, and increase your financial vocabulary also.
Oh, most definitely. Do you know about the guy, they call him they call him Wall Street. I believe that's his nickname. But he went in prison as a teenager, and he was looking because he couldn't really read and write when he got there. And he was looking for what he thought was the basketball scores, but it wasn't. It was the finance page. And he got really involved to the point he got so good at it that you got the warden and the other officers coming to him for financial advice. He's like the Warren Buffett of prison.
Yeah. Is he out now?
I don't know for sure, because they were looking to try to get him out. On penny stocks, that man, he has a $50,000 savings. And that was a few years back. They are looking to get him out because he's been in there for so long. And I think he's already been in there close to 30 years. And I think he was 16 or 17 when he got there.
Yeah, he was pretty young when he got there. I do remember that.
Yeah. But I do know that they were trying to get him out, because you even got some of the celebrities who knows him, and they try to get advice from him as well.
Now, see, now, even though I'm cool with people trying to get in the folks that's been in there for drugs and all of that too, and getting their time shortened and all that, which is necessary because there's a lot of us that don't deserve to be in there. But that gentleman there, they should have definitely been fighting to get him out.
I agree. And I do think it is, because what is the young black Curtis Wall Street Carroll? That's his name.
Okay.
He's a prisoner in California, San Quentin. He's serving 54 years to life for murder. And the young black guy that does the interviews, he wears a hat, and sometimes he wears the hat that has like your dreads in the back of it, a young black man. But he's been doing, and this guy has done a TED Talk. I can't remember. I see the guy, but I don't know his name. I agree with you. He should be out. You in prison and your net worth is 50 grand.
Yeah.
Knowing how to do what he does, he's not the only one. There was another guy who did get out. Matter of fact, the guy who was with him is out, and there's another guy. Same thing. I think it's like 4 of them all together, not including him.
Yeah, it's, we see battles. Like,
okay, he has been released after serving 27 years of a 54 years to life sentence in prison. He has been released on parole. Now, mind you, that he ain't been out in the world since he was a baby, but he didn't come out poor, so he has no motivation to do he shouldn't have a motivation to do the wrong thing. Not when you come out and you already got 50 grand.
And knowing how you can turn this 50 into 100 and that 100 into 200, and plus the people that's going to be coming to you for financial advice, you sitting on swole.
Yeah.
So that just the people coming to him for the advice alone is going to be worth it.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. And plus, he enjoys teaching people. He had a class while he was in prison
he
used to teach.
Yeah,
I think it was called REAL or something. It had an acronym to it. But yeah. And his net worth was 50 grand as of October 2022. It's probably way more than that now.
Yeah, exactly. They probably let him put some stuff away somewhere else, and then just say you can have a maximum X amount in the account here.
Well, they can't mess with his money. It's his. And he was helping his family to make money while he was in there. And he said he wanted to be like Warren. He wanted to be the Warren Buffett. And pretty much that's what he was.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Because at 50 grand, and with that knowledge, and he has 50 grand, he should be okay for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he should be able to. He should be able to turn that 50 into something, because he got the skill set.
Well, not only that, when you can teach it like he does, and the simplicity of his teaching, it makes people believe that it's possible.
Yeah, you got that skill set.
Yeah. So he should, and people respect what he has to say. People who making money, who knows? Warren Buffett might have finally talked to him. Because, see, he's a 50 cent when it comes to that. He's a 50 cent. All you've ever known is the street. And you learned everything you learned, reading and writing. He learned all that while he was in prison. He was 17 years old. Mm-hmm. And you can't read and write at 17? So considering all the things that was against him, he excelled exceedingly well.
Absolutely, yes, he did. He on top, doing better than He's doing way better than a lot of people who have been out here for the last 27 years.
Yep. Yep. But see, he got smart enough to appreciate his circumstances and situations. And then when you as good as he was and your behavior is consistent, you can't be getting in a lot of trouble because you're doing this right here. And if you were getting in trouble, that'd be the first thing. But see, the warden even liked the kid, which made a big difference. I'm sorry, when the warden likes you, that makes a vast difference. And the officers respect you, that makes a vast difference in your stay and when you get to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because he could either be on a lifetime parole or he could be on a parole, they say 4 years, and because of his consistency in a year, boom, drop them other 3. But yeah, he did it the smart way.
Makes sense to me. So, yeah. All right. Well, we had our hour mark.
Yes, we are. It's been fun, and I'm going to follow up on what we had started off with this digital currency. I need to find out some more stuff because I'm definitely going to make some changes in some investments immediately come Monday morning, tomorrow.
I know XRP, XCD, and Casper. Let me see. Somebody sent it to me. Let me see what he told me. Casper.
Hold on, because I'm going to write this down. Okay, go ahead. Give it to me again, please.
XRP, XLM, XDC, and Casper, CASPER.
X-ray Robert Paul, X-ray Larry Mary, X-ray David Charlie, Casper the Ghost.
Yep.
And for anyone who chooses to use this, we are not promoting anything in particular. We are not telling you to do it. We are not even suggesting that you do it. But this is what we are doing.
Absolutely. If you're looking to change your financial future, be a part of the new world order, the new currency, all I can say is don't get left behind, because once they do this, who knows what may happen, because they're definitely all this new reset, new world order. This is where we at. It's all about the digital currency. They want to be able to have access to your money and tell you what to do with it at any given time.
Learn how and understand that you can have money in a brokerage account as well. And that ain't a bank.
Exactly. In a trust fund. The trust can pay all your bills, so
absolutely.
It's trying to get financially smart. And so we just can't keep giving away our second most precious resource outside of our human resource, which is our financial resource.
Absolutely.
So with that,
well, my darling, that's it for today. And again, we want to remind you to subscribe, hit that like button, and
hit that share button, make a comment. Even suggest a show
absolutely.
that you want us to discuss one day. Who knows? We may can dwell into something and get you some answers.
Absolutely. Well, my brother, thank you. I want you to have a good day, and all our listeners, we want you to have a blessed day and a wonderful week.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.